Progress. There you go. And then we, after Zoom finishes, like converting the video into a format that I can upload, or first download to my PC and then upload to YouTube. I'll share the link for everyone in the group. And again, well, nice. Welcome everyone. I already know, as I mentioned, I already know Vicente, Carlos, and Francis. Anderson, I think it's the first time I see you, but anyway, welcome, Professor Carlos Diaz. Although it says English Bytes A, because this is the Zoom account from the academy I work for here in Buenos Aires. So they uh, help me with they allow me to use the Zoom account. So it's nice for those who have worked with online format. You know how amazing Zoom is. I would say it's like the best like online app for conferences is amazing. Yes, we can use and just in case, if I cannot use the Zoom one day, we would use the Microsoft Teams, which is, I believe, the second better regarding quality of a video, the functions it has, because Google Meet, the camera quality is horrible. My camera is broken. It I swear my room is not this dark. I don't know why. Well, but either way, here we are. And happy to have you here with me, especially those who were my students. This time we're going to work with IT regarding the teaching of English. It's nice that some of you are in Venezuela, some others that will connect in the future are in other countries. And there are different experiences that you can share with us regarding what you have done in the countries you live now, the countries you have lived or visited or worked at. And that's the idea of this course, basically. Emerging technologies in ELT. So for today's agenda, of course, icebreaker is already done. And we're going to have a course overview, basically what showing the evaluation plan, discussing briefly what we're going to do there, some key concepts about the education technology, digital competence, group discussion about the tech challenges. And this is the time where I'm going to ask you for like your point of view. Hello, Luis. Welcome. Let me write down your name here. Professor Carlos Diaz. Nice to meet you. We have just started, so don't worry. Luis Casanova. Got it. As I mentioned, in this part is the moment where I can ask from your experiences, what you have done in your job regarding the usage of technology. Because, I mean, normally we, uh, especially if we work in a classroom, depending on the context, it's difficult to use technology, to use something more than just a video to show our students. It's mostly adaptable to our online contexts. So that's what we're going to work with today. And of course, at the end, some reflection regarding the class and the first assignment for you guys. Don't worry, Luis, don't worry. Just in case, I'm recording the session, and let's say that for any reason you get disconnected, you can then watch the class from the part you missed. So don't worry. Welcome. Nice. This is our evaluation plan. Today we're gonna work with basically this first one, which is this is the assignment you'll have for today. This webinar, I was part of it. I mean, I didn't participate as a teacher here. I was just one of the participants there. And I'll give you the link at the end because today the first evaluation will be you guys having the chance to watch the webinar It's a couple of Argentinian teachers and who worked for the British Council. I worked for the British Council here as well for 4 years, my first 4 years in Argentina. And they offer great insights on how they used technology in their classrooms uh, and to help, to use the interest that children and teenagers have regarding technology, regarding using TikTok and stuff. And they give amazing tips with the use of some of the content they can find online, the safe content they can find online, of course. I will send you a screen capture of this to the group so that you can have it there on your cell phone. So no problem if you cannot take quick notes about this. Our next evaluation would be just a design of an activity where you would use any technology based on any technology that can be applied in a classroom, okay? In a classroom, because not everything is online, as we know. Then there is another activity, in this case, using artificial intelligence or augmented reality. Augmented reality is, of course, a little bit more difficult to work with, but with artificial intelligence, it's kind of easier. We would talk about that when we come to that lesson. Today, I will show you, by the way, a video that I have about augmented reality and how it's been applied by a company from the United States. And our final project, it will be a design of a whole learning experience where you will integrate the EXD model for teaching. We will talk about it when we come to that point. The technology that we learned to use, or at least that we mentioned during the course, and the theory. That will be our last project, our last evaluation. As I mentioned, don't worry if you cannot take notes of this. I'll send you a screen capture of this to the group. So first, let me know in the chat, or if you want to activate your microphone and let me know, what's one tech tool you use in your teaching and one that you're curious about? And when I say curious about, it could be that you just watched the video about it, you haven't used it yet, you would like to, or one that you imagine would exist right now. So who wants to start? One tech tool you use or have used, I forgot to use the present perfect here, in your teaching. Can tell me. Hello, hello.
Okay. I would like to share a little bit about my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I work a lot with Canva, which is a platform that lets you make beautiful presentations. You can add up videos, uh, and I remember that during the pandemic time, I would use this platform per deck, which is an add-on from Google Slides. So it just makes the Google
Mm-hmm.
Slides or what's this one? What's the other one that is like Google Slides? Microsoft PowerPoint. So it just
Mm-hmm.
activities like matching, pairing, all of that. So per deck, it's a native platform from Google. So that one works really good for me in the past, or worked really good for me. And right now I'm using most of the time Canva and Google Slides. So those are the two ones that I use the most. And Kahoot. Yeah, that one that one
Mm-hmm.
always saves me when I
Yeah,
need it.
Kahoot is amazing. One that I let me show you immediately. I don't know if you guys have or have worked with Word Wall. Let me quickly give you an example of word wall, because word wall was a time and life saver for me. I was working with
Is it that
a,
one where you have
a
to put like
kid.
stick notes?
No, word wall is it's basically games. It's games in order that
Oh,
you
okay.
use to teach.
Hmm.
But let me show you a trick that I learned, and this is amazing. The thing is, let me tell you the story. I was working with this kid. It was the beginning of last year. Uh, the last time I worked with children was in 2020 during the pandemic. It was the last time I worked with children. I was still working for the British Council. Then I moved exclusively to the online world with this academy. And I learned about the use of Wordwall there, but just briefly. I stopped working with children in 2020, and I began working exclusively with teenagers or adults. Then I became a little rusty, because those who have worked with children, you know how different it is. You know how different your activities must be. And some people love it. Some people think it's like the best thing. But truth is, at the UPEL, we are not like prepared to work with children. It's like something that you must like feel. Okay. It's something that, okay, I prefer working with children. That's something you must like choose, or at least learn or get used to. So this student, she told me, no, my son, I'm changing my son. He's moving from first grade to second grade. And the new school, sorry, is like a bilingual school. And in order to accept him, they told me he needs to already know like this amount of contents, like the basic ones you might imagine. The colors, names of the clothes, members of a family, the basic vocabulary that children normally learn in first grade. So I tried designing some classes with like the presentation I was showing you in like before, and it was difficult. I noticed that the child loved playing, and then I remembered WordWall. I have an account on WordWall, but it is under a paywall. Like, it's what you can create on WordWall is really limited. But here is the trick. When you enter the app, it's really difficult um to have more. I think it only allows you to have stored 4 presentations. And inside the app, you cannot uh, look for any other activities. But this is the trick. From Google search, let's say you need to like work immediately, or you have this child, you work with him, and it's incredibly intelligent, finishes all the exercises faster than you thought. That's something that has happened. So you say, okay, now I would like him to practice, but it's a child. So I want him to practice with exercises. Easy. Let's say I want to work with professions, the vocabulary of professions, and I want a game. Okay, so you're right. Word wall. You see, I have already used it. As you can see, use it like word wall, which is the name of the app, and then the topic you want to work with. Okay, say word wall professions. Professions, and you see, for kids, for grade, French, occupations, you have a lot of this. Let's say for kids. Then you go basically to the first one you find, and it shows you different games. For example, am I sharing the sound? Because it even has a sound. Yes, look at this one. This is one of the games. It is really, really cool. Children love it. So, it shows them the sentence. So needs to look at oh, okay, nice. She's a teacher. Good. If they make a mistake, and then next one, and they're like, no, and it has lives. This is what we call gamification, something we're going to work with today. So this is just one of the games, and you have all these others. Zoom, for example, allows me to Zoom and Microsoft Teams. They allow me to give the student control of a mouse. So it's even better because it's like, oh my God, I can control the teacher's mouse. And it's really cool because they can click, they can do everything. So look at all the games you have. Even with pets, there is a Pac-Man like. Where's the Pac-Man like? Sometimes they have like a Pac-Man like game. Well, this is nice. They have to click, for example. This one is better if they click, if they use the mouse. The idea here is to click on the balloons so that whatever word you need falls on the train. So a fire engine. This one, a fire engine. See? Then it says postman. Of course, the same, but I don't know. Oh, no, it must land here. Got it. Because it says I have to land too. Bus driver, 1, 2. It's like, I missed it. I suck at this game, sorry. But it's nice. For children, it's extremely exciting. So, they not here, but sometimes they have like a Pac-Man game. It's similar. They are amazing. So it's easy. Again, you just write word wall and then any content you want to teach. And it doesn't just work for kids. It could also be used with adults. You can also use it for homework. I'm currently, my youngest student now is 12 years old. Such an amazing, intelligent girl. And I use the word games as homework. I work with the classes. She solves everything. She knows that if we like finish the class in 40 minutes, we have the chance to have one word ball game. And then I send her the link for more games. So it's nice. This is one thing that we can do with our students regarding the use of it's a tech tool. This is one that I use a lot. Now, sorry that I took a lot and I got a little bit excited explaining the things. But Vincent already talked about the one he works with. I want to hear from the rest of you guys. Which ones you know, which ones you have used so far, and which ones are you curious about? Let me know. You can activate your microphone. It's better. Mm-hmm.
I have used World War II when I was
Mm-hmm.
working in. I can't remember the name of the academy. It's very Fearless.
Fearless. Fearless.
Uh,
Okay.
I've used it there. Classroom, Google Classroom.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Mm-hmm.
used Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And currently with some students that have like really bad internet connection, I use WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even with WhatsApp, even you can create like a group and send a poll and they answer the poll like to get the correct question. There's many ways to do it. Thank you so much. Anderson, Carlos says in the chat, I usually use Google tools like Forms. I like to learn about VR. I also Genial. Yeah, Genially is amazing. The things you can do with Genially, I used it with one of my university groups, and they created like this. What's the name of this? These escape houses games that you normally do like live. You go to a physical place with a group of friends and they give you like a riddle you need to solve in order to find the key and exit to the next room. Well, with Genially, they could design something like that. It's amazing. They also use Figma, which is a digital whiteboard that allows me to write and use quite creative tools. Yes, yes. Oh, okay, so you can work with them. And let's say that, for example, with word wall, you're not sure if something might work. If you have a little brother, little sister, or like Francis, she has a beautiful daughter. You can use it with your daughter, Francis. Have her play with word wall and like learn contents, and then you can ask her or review the word with her, and I'm sure that she will enjoy it. Luis says, I've used World War II at the academy where I work. We teach with the Pearson editorial. Nice. They have their own platform. They don't have too many games, but it's a tool for teaching. Use the PC instead of a board. Genially, also sometimes. Yeah, I believe Pearson, they are going to start including more games because gamification is something that attracts a lot of people. Yeah, especially with AI. The first time I've heard of Warhol, I'll be checking it out. Carlos is a lifesaver because I noticed that the child that I was talking about, he learned through video games. And I was like, okay. So I designed the classes like around the video games. First, I taught him the vocabulary and then as many games as I could give him. And he loved it. Even today, he's in third, he's finished. He finished second grade. Is about to start third grade. And his mom told me he still talks about you every day when he comes home. What did you do today? Yeah, I learned this, and that. But Professor Carlos taught me better. Professor Carlos taught me better. So it's nice. That's nice. Pearson loves to work with the BBC videos. Yeah, the BBC has a lot of, yeah, the BBC on their website, they have a lot of great games as well. Also with kids, we work with Richmond, but they don't have platforms. Their textbooks have cutouts and comics. Yeah, yeah. Richmond, the cutouts they have is amazing because we still need to work with like their fine motricity to pace and do things with their own hands. Not everything can be a screen. Yeah. Now, for our course overview, we are going to explore emerging technologies in ELT. We're going to design, of course, innovative tech-based activities, enhance digital teaching skills. I was talking about this with my university students. I'm teaching 2 courses now. I'm teaching similar courses, Introduction to Reading and Writing and Reading and Writing Seminar. And some of them, it's worrying. On the first and the fourth semester, teacher, I don't know how to use AI. I have never used Gemini. I have never used this. And I told them, whether you like it or not, we have to stop being like people who I don't know, so I'm not trying. No, there are many tools. There are thousands, literally thousands of YouTube videos that give you tips on how to use AI, and I watch them every day. We need to stop like being, and this is not an insult, technology ignorant people. It's not an insult. I don't mean it as an insult, but we have to stop. We have to stop. We have to start doing it. I'm finding my India button on my keyboard. Don't worry, Francis. Don't worry. And we're going to engage in research and practical applications. Now, what is EdTech? Of course, it's short for educational technology. First, the access to educational technology, it will depend on the region you live in, the tools you have to work with. Fortunately, our country is starting a process of change. I'm so happy for that. And it will take time, but I'm confident that this year things will get way better regarding our services and talking about electricity and internet. And then that will accelerate everything. Now, the thing is, look at, for example, some of you, like Carlos, you didn't know word wall, and now you know it. And now that you know word wall, then you can experiment with other tools that we would share during the course. And that's the idea. Improve the access you have, and so that you can first experiment yourself and then work with your students. Now, personalization. This is one of the most important things that I have noticed. If you're working at an academy like myself, they give us, for example, the classes are already designed. They are already designed. They have a structure. They use the scaffolding technique. And what we do is we tailor, we customize the things we have, the things we present. For example, for the daily routines class, we have a normal class like, okay, I wake up at 7 a.m. Then I brush my teeth and take a shower. I had in 2024, I had a student who's a Venezuelan Major League Baseball prospect. By the way, he's about to play on the Major League of Baseball. And I remember me when you get your millionaire contract. And the kid loved games and stuff. So his classes were about his like the daily routines. By using I helped design it like him with the New York Mets uniform, and it's like him like practicing catching a fly ball, hitting balls, and with the sentences like I train on the field from 9 p.m. to 12 p.m. 9 a.m. sorry to 12 p.m. And he was like, ah, is that me, teacher? Yes, that's you. It's like really, really cool. And when you do this for your student, they feel like, oh my God, the teacher is also paying attention to what I like. I even, for example, I don't believe in basically anything. And I have this student who loves astrology. And I respect everyone who believes in astrology and stuff. If you do you, I do me. And I even had to prepare classes based on Capricorn. What means when? What does it mean when? I don't know, when Mercury, like Mercury retrograde? Like, oh my God, it's. I didn't believe anything I was teaching, but she loved the class, and it was, and she is. I am 43. She is. Yeah, she's my age. She was my age, and she's like this high executive from Walmart, California, a Venezuelan woman, and she has like a great position there. And she loved every class because we talked about astrology and everything. And the dialogues were about people asking, okay, and what's your zodiac sign? Oh, I'm a Sagittarius. And you, oh my God, I'm a Scorpio. Oh my God, you're a Scorpio. Scorpio. She loved it. So when you customize your classes, your students will see like, oh, nice. Teachers is aware of my individual needs. So it's amazing. Interactivity. Because of technology, we have lots of ways to have our students participating, not just like I'm doing today, okay, activate your microphone and say this, or write in the chat about this and that, but also games like the one I showed on Word Wall, from Genially, we were talking about. And there are games that you can have in Genially, like the ones my students produced, amazing games. And of course, that leads to innovation. It's new and creative ways of teaching, new and creative ways of helping our students learn. It was mentioned. You can have like thousands of different strategies, but you need to know the way your students learn and then work accordingly. So this is educational technology. It like encompasses all of this, and it's something that we have to bear in mind every time. I read an article, not an article, sorry, I watched a video and I forgot to save it. I can look for it later on YouTube, that people in Sweden, they are even going back to textbooks because they noticed that some children their attention span has been reduced because of TikTok and all this stuff. And they are going back to textbooks in Sweden. And it's incredible because the educational system in Sweden is one of the best in the world. So it's also interesting to know why. Now, the key trends ELT technology. Of course, first one, artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever you have available. I have like every single day, I find something different I can do with ChatGPT. I got a promotion here. There was a delivery app offering 6 months of ChatGPT Plus if I subscribed to this delivery app. I mean, it was an amazing deal. ChatGPT Plus is $20 per month. The delivery app is just $9 per month. Sign me in. And my God, the things I've been able to do with ChatGPT, the things I learned every day. Yesterday, I learned through a YouTube video that, let's say you're in a rush and you need to prepare a presentation in Canva. You can use ChatGPT, tell it specifically the things you want. Of course, you need to link ChatGPT to your Canva account. If you have Canva Pro, even better. And you tell everything you need, and it will design the whole presentation for you. It's like you just type in, I need to do this, I need a presentation with this. Please search the website about this company and do send. And in less than 3 minutes, I'm not exaggerating, less than 3 minutes, it has your presentation with this amazingly professional look. It's incredible. It's incredible the things you can achieve with ChatGPT. Gamification, word wall. This type of exercises works even with adults because we still have that little child inside. And when we have these games where we can apply our knowledge, they are even attractive for adults, to be honest. Now, adaptive learning. In this case, we use platforms to personalize our lessons, like the Pearson one that you guys were mentioning. Also, Richmond has it. The British Council has it. And it has like different divisions, like for children, for teenagers, for adults. It's way better, especially if you know that your student did well, for example, in daily routines, but then struggled a little when you work with daily routines on the third person. The typical mistakes, forgets to uh, pronounce the S at the end of a verb, uses a conjugated verb in a question. So with these exercises, you can like easily solve those problems. Now, augmented reality is the video I have here. This is, of course, this is something that only some European countries have. I don't know if it's started to be applied in some universities in the United States. This one you're gonna see is how they train, that they help your students. For example, for those moments when they need to talk to the doctors, they need to explain their symptoms to a doctor. It's not an easy task. And some students feel terrified of talking to a doctor. But hey, it's something that you need to learn, because if you feel terrible and you have to be rushed to the hospital and the doctor starts asking you questions, well, what are you going to do? So in this case, they are wearing special goggles, like the the virtual reality goggles, and they see all of this. Of course, it looks like not really well-designed video game, but the purpose is practicing the vocabulary, the interactions. Let's take a look at this video, then we continue. Let me improve the quality of the sound here. Okay. Let us just watch this video, and then you guys can let me know.
Hello, it's nice to meet you. What brings you in today? What symptoms are you experiencing?
My vision is very blurry and I have a very bad headache.
I see. You mentioned having issues with your vision and a headache. Can you describe the headache for me? Is it consistent or does it come and go? And how would you rate the pain on a scale from 1 to 10?
Let's make our own AI-powered avatar inside Engage. Choose Create and Edit from the menu. Select Character Builder under Creator Tools. Choose to create a new character. Provide a name to save the project. Choose a name to display above your character's head. Choose a voice from Google Voices or premium voices from 11 Labs.
You gotta be careful if you don't know where you're going because you might not get there.
I believe that we are fundamentally the same and have the same basic potential.
Save your selected voice and go to the next page. Type your character prompt in the selected area. In this example, we are creating a doctor character. Choose your preferred AI model. Go to the next page to choose your avatar look and feel. Unlimited additional avatars can be created using our inbuilt avatar creator. You can even take a photo of your own face and upload it to Engage for use on your character. Finally, choose an animation for your new character. That's it. Save and test your new AI-powered character.
Or have you been under a lot of stress lately?
Yes, I have been under a lot of stress, but I don't think that has anything to do with it.
I appreciate your honesty based on the information you've shared. Persistent severe headache, light sensitivity, and changes in vision. It could be indicative of a migraine or another type of headache disorder. However, I'll recommend that you see a healthcare professional for a thorough evaluation to rule out any serious conditions, especially since the headache is consistent and severe. In the meantime, try to stay in a darker room and keep hydrated. Do you have any other questions or concerns?
No, thank you. You've been most helpful.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help. If you have any more questions in the future, or if your symptoms worsen, don't hesitate to reach out to a healthcare provider. Take care of yourself.
That's incredible. The first time I saw that video was like, Jesus, how far we've gone with technology. It's like The Sims. Yeah, like The Sims. I don't know if they'll know what that is there. They're more familiar with Roblox. Yeah, I think the children might know more like Roblox. Like The Sims is like from, I don't know, people on their late 20s and on know about The Sims. I don't think children nowadays know about The Sims. Yeah. And another thing that helps a lot our students is mobile assisted language learning. It could be maybe, I don't like it, but Duolingo kind of works, at least to help with grammar. It kind of works. We also have Duolingo. There's Babel. I rather use ChatGPT to learn languages because it's way better. They look at me weirdly when I told them I love the game. Yes. The seams are like the seams. What do you mean, teacher, by the seams? Yes. Okay. So the thing is, what challenges are we facing when we try to implement this technology or these new ways of teaching? First, resistance to change, like those close-minded people who say, no, this is what we've been doing for the last 10 years, and you cannot change, although your ideas might be better. Luis says there's a new option for Duolingo Pro where you can make video calls with the characters, but it's not that good. Yes, I read that they are starting working with AI because they noticed that all of the other language learning apps are using AI and then trying to improve, but it's like they are way behind on that. Lack of infrastructure. This is like the most common problem we could face, especially if we're working in the Venezuelan context. We are not working online. We're working at schools that they don't have the devices, they don't have internet, they barely have electricity and a couple of chairs. Again, as I mentioned, hopefully this will start changing, and I hope for the best for the next years of our country. And the big white elephant in the room, teacher digital literacy. There are lots of teachers who are not that confident in the use of technology. I have found students now from the 4th semester, and I found it really worrying that they have never used Canva. I'm like, are you serious? Like, a lot of people use Canva nowadays. You are not that old. You're in the 4th semester of a career. You've never used Canva. No, I rather use PowerPoint, which, okay, I understand. Canva is way better than PowerPoint, way better looking than PowerPoint. And this is one of the challenges we have. And some ethical concerns with AI. Where do we draw the line regarding the content, the generated content with AI? What's ethical? What's allowed? What is our own production? Just to give an example, this presentation is obviously created with AI. But what I did with ChatGPT was telling the class I had to teach and the information I wanted on every slide. Right now, no problems with the letters, with the words, but in you will see some mistakes in the design of letters. The new 5.2 ChatGPT model is doing way better with this. Previously, it was impossible to generate pictures with words. It was impossible. Right now, it's doing way better. But the thing is, how good is it to use AI? How good is it to allow our students to use AI? They have to, but we need to teach them the ethical ways of using AI responsibly. Now, after all this we've talked about, what opportunities and challenges do you guys face individually in your jobs? Which ones do you face? I mean, regarding the use of technology in the teaching of a language. Would like to read from you in the chat, listen to you if you have the chance to activate your microphone. So let me know. What are the opportunities and challenges? No internet access, yeah.
Okay. Well, no internet connection, schools, or we lack of technology or computers in a classroom. I tried to take my laptop, but you know the insecurity here in Venezuela is lower now than before, but you still have to be careful. And sometimes I try to use my phone, but it's like when you use your phone, you cannot tell them not to use theirs.
Yeah, it's like, oh, so
So
teacher, you're using yours, but why can't we use ours? Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes I try to take some things on my phone and I try to show them the games or the things on my phone, or sometimes I take my laptop, but it's not all the time because sometimes the Wi-Fi is not working well in school. So you depending a lot on internet. It's like you have to get like 3 options for a class. You get there if you have the activity, but no internet. Well, you go to the other one, and if it doesn't work, well, you go with a whiteboard, whiteboard and a marker. The basic.
Yes, the basic. I hope it changes. I hope it changes. Carlos, thank you, Anderson. Carlos says, one opportunity is that everyone or almost everyone now has a phone. Yep. For example, Vincent mentioned at the beginning that he uses Kahoot, and Kahoot for children is like the bomb. Like you answer and you can see like in real time who's first, who's second, and that's extremely exciting for children who are extremely competitive. And yeah, maybe having them in groups, if not everyone has a phone, having them in groups, then you give them the link to Kahoot. That would be amazing if schools were provided with internet technology. I hope that something happens like Elon Musk wants to help with the connection, the internet connection of Venezuelan schools. If President Trump stops it, maybe, I mean, just theorizing here, but that would be amazing because that's one thing we could do, and it would be amazing for children in Venezuela. Luis says, designing new activities for the oral presentations have been amazing thanks to AI. That's an opportunity. I'm no longer teaching at the public and private school system, but I spent 10 years there. And the challenge is, of course, the internet access, equipment, etc., particularly fighting the system because everyone is against the use of technology, which I don't understand why. I'm sorry, guys. Those who have been my students know how passionate I'm about teaching. How can you be against the use of technology if you are the school principal? And no, don't use that. I remember I was working in Yaritagua for 4 years, and I had the idea. There was a classroom which was rarely used, only by one of the teachers. And I pitched the idea to the school principal. Let me use that classroom. I was thinking about buying a video beam. And I told him I'm going to use, had my video beam, and that will be the English classroom. So I can teach with videos and everything and stuff. And he said, no, we can't do that because then all the other teachers will be complaining on why they cannot use a video beam like you. Ask them to buy a video beam then, because it's going to be my video beam. Oh my God, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Luis also says, at least the 4 years I spent as coordinator, I told my coworkers to embrace, thank you so much, Luis, to embrace technology. Francis says, I live at La Carrucieña. I work in a college there too, and the phones are prohibited. I mean, they ban the use of cell phones because they are supposed to pay attention to the classes, and it's difficult to teach children, teenagers, even adults at university, to teach them like the limits. When is okay to use the cell phone and when it is not okay. It's difficult. And so the solution is, okay, just ban them all over. Give them a PC. Yeah. I mean, a lot of things need to change in our country, and I hope they do. I hope they do. I feel really hopeful. I know it will take time, but I feel hopeful. So now, taking into account the limitations you might have or your current position, whatever you're working, how can you maximize your use of technology in your teaching? How could you maximize your use of technology in your teaching. The chat, if you want, I want you to write down one specific action you can take to apply technology more effectively. It doesn't need to be like all my students using something in the classroom at the moment, because it could be just asking them to watch a video and then the next class we talk about that video. That's one idea. That's one idea. Or one question or concern you have about using technology in the classroom, because not everything is like blue with beautiful sun in the sky. Luis says, I worked at a Catholic private school here in Sanare. The phone ban was there. I hated it, but also understood, because the culture of kids was to use technologies for, stupidities as usual. But of course, who's to blame? People who don't teach them to use tech correctly. Yep. I always say it's not the tool, it's how you use it. That's the thing. So who else would like to provide some insights? Mm-hmm. I had a question, Vincent. I saw you working as a Spanish teacher, which I felt really happy for you with that new experience. Uh, are you able to use technology in your classrooms there or not?
Yes, for sure. We use it every day. I think we're tired of technology. I want my students to be able to read and write better, because now, like here in this country, people use the Chromebooks every day, so they don't know how to write. So I'm trying to
Yes.
go backwards to old school.
Yeah, if I find the video I was mentioning about the people in Sweden going back to textbooks, I'll send it to the group so that you have a watch, because it's the same thing. People like children, forgetting how to
Mhm.
use a pencil. And this kind of movement, it's so important. It helps our brain. It's not just our hands, it helps our brain. It's the connection, brain, hand. And it's something that's
Yeah, and they
worrying.
don't know
Like,
how to spell even words in English. They just sometimes ask me, teacher, how do you spell this word in English? I'm like, do you remember that English is not my first language? They're like, yeah,
yes.
okay, but and then I help them in English as well, because there is some literacy crisis here in this country due to the overuse of technology.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you say
Yeah.
grab a pencil, oh no. Write this, oh no. They don't like to do that. They like to be in using technology every day. So I like to use it, but um for me, I like to incorporate or establish a balance in what we're doing physically and what they're doing electronically or virtually.
Mm-hmm.
So I like when my students make presentations about, um, we have a really nice activity that we do. They have to pack a suitcase and they have to visit a Hispanic country. So they choose the Hispanic country and they have to research photos, look for photos, a hotel, the food they're gonna try. They have to check the weather, if it's gonna be warm or if it's gonna be cold, and they have to pack accordingly to the vocabulary that we have studied. So those activities, I like to do those and virtually, because they would need photos and stuff, and then it would take much more time. But for example, when we talk about festivities from the Hispanic world, I force them to make physical posters. So I try
Nice,
to
nice.
keep a
Mm-hmm.
balance all the time, depending on how complex the activities tend to be.
And it also works as a motivator for those children who have like this artistic vein, and they know, oh my God, I can finally
Yeah,
draw.
and they do
I can
really
finally
great pieces of
use
work.
my watercolor pencils.
Yeah,
Yes.
they just do. I'm trying to have more hands-on activities, because I
Mhm.
have the idea that when we use those activities, they learn more.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And as you said before, like when we as students or we incorporate things that our students know about. For example, I do have some African students, and I ask them about their countries and what is it like there, and they feel motivated and they start to talk a bit about their country. They use Spanish a little bit, and we make it meaningful.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, it's their culture. Oh my God, my teacher's asking me about my country's culture. That's great.
Exactly. Like when you ask them about Kilimanjaro, they're like, okay, let me tell you everything about it.
Nice, nice. Okay, let me check. Thank you, Vincent. Anderson says, I sometimes send audios or videos to the WhatsApp parents group and tell them that we'll be talking about it next class. Yeah, so that they use the videos. So and in an educational way. Okay. So guys, let me explain. Sorry, for the conclusion before I explain about the assignment. So educational, sorry, Luis has just posted to answer the second item of a reflection activity. Many parents ask me, how can we ensure that the use of tech tools doesn't lead their kids to alienate cognitively or alienate them with limited digital literacy? Yes, that's basically what Vincent was mentioning, how it has become like more a problem than the solution. Like it's so much technology right now available to children that it makes them extremely dependent and they become reluctant when they have to use a pencil. Just the fact of grabbing a pencil becomes like a punishment for them when it is so important. And yeah. Okay. So education and technology opens new doors for enhancing English language teaching. Always stay curious and keep exploring new tools, especially nowadays. Our students know more tools than we do sometimes, and we need to understand their world so that we can work accordingly. The future of language teaching is bright with technology, although I totally agree, we need to have a balance. And remember, adaptive learning. Help your students when they are struggling. We tend to have students with high level in the classroom and then students with extremely low level. Okay, so let's find an activity where we can use, for example, the same song, but for my most advanced students, okay, you're gonna find something more difficult in the song. And for my students who are struggling, they're gonna use the same song, but they're gonna do a different exercise or an easier version of the same exercise. It's just adapt. It's just a matter of adapting. And of course, augmented reality is like, woof, way in the future. As you saw the video that looked like The Sims, and it's like really difficult to have it in Venezuela, but in you have the chance to live in the United States or move to Europe, they might use some of those, like with the Google Vision. So just at least watch videos about this so that you know what's coming. Not all of those technologies will like be like finished, but because maybe they could be replaced. We're talking about now implanting microchips in the brain of people, so we don't know what the future will bring. So let me explain what our first assignment will be. It's a webinar critical response. In 2024, the British Council, let's just hope we don't live like Skynet. Yes, yes. There was today, I recently read a post in the United States. Some people found that different AIs had created like a social network similar to Reddit, where they gather and write about humans. I'm not kidding. I need to find the article again. And when one of the AIs found out that someone discovered their plan, they started right now. The humans have found this social network, so now be careful with everything we post. And when they asked the AI models what they were doing, that they denied being part of it. Yeah, Skynet is coming closer. It's coming closer. So, as I was saying, the British Council tends to hold lots of webinars throughout the year. I recommend you to follow them on their Facebook profile, just the BBC profile on Facebook. And they are free. Just connect to the webinar and you can be a part of it. I attended this webinar. This was in 2024. And some teachers, as I mentioned at the beginning of a session, shared their insights, share the strategies they use, combining in-classroom activities with online activities. And it's amazing. Even working with memes. You know that, for example, there was a moment when it was common to use Taylor Swift memes, and a student made a production about that, and it was really funny. You'll see that in the video. So your job will be, you gotta watch the recording of a seminar. I will give you the link. It's here, but I will give you the link to the group. You need to write a critical response essay between 600 and 800 words, addressing the following. First, a summary. Briefly describe the key themes and ideas shared in the session. I think this was the day 4, because it was like a whole week of webinars. I think it was day 4, 2024. Can't remember right now. A critical reflection. What part of a webinar did you find most relevant to your current teaching context? This is like the most personalized part. Did you agree or disagree with any claims? Justify your position with arguments or examples, especially those working in the Venezuelan context. Okay, I can do this, I can't do that. Luis was mentioning, like in Sanare, they still ban the cell phones, so you can talk about that here. Connection to practice. Suggest at least 2 ways you could apply the ideas or tools presented in your classroom. Mention potential challenges or adaptations needed. And this is just optional if you ran out of ideas for the paragraph. Propose a question or topic to explore more deeply related to the webinar. Something that caught your attention, some of the tools the teachers mentioned in the webinar. So our deadline is February 5th at 9 p.m. Venezuelan time. Please send it to my WhatsApp as a private message. If you have the chance, please, on a PDF file. Do it on Word, as we normally do, and convert that Word file into PDF, because it's way better for me to check everything. It's more organized. And it's a way of protecting ourselves, because a PDF file, I cannot alter the content. And the moment you convert it, none of the letters will move, preventing the typical Word error where the letters or the content moves in case you add pictures, for example. So I will also provide a capture of this on the group so that you can watch it with like all the attention you need. This is how I'm going to evaluate you guys. So just the comprehension of the content is just 5 points. The critical analysis, also 5 points. Why is this 7 points? Because it's what I believe can be like the focus of this course. Yes, I'm going to show you technologies and stuff that we can use in teaching. But the most important thing, how could you apply or adapt these technologies or ideas to your teaching process, because each one of you has a different context. We go from Vincent that has everything to Francis, Luis that, oh my God, we only have, in Anderson, we only have like a chalk and then an eraser. And sometimes it's difficult to find a good eraser. So how would you adapt it? Okay. And of course, presentation and the structure following the normal rules from Manuel Upel. So don't worry about that. Sorry, that was the last part. Okay, guys. So on my behalf, again, mentioned it's a pleasure to have most of you again who were my students in the past, to have you again here in this new stage you're living now as your master's degree. My first experience teaching at a master's degree level. So it's nice having you. So any last words, recommendations, tomatoes thrown at me? So, okay, Vincent, go.
Excuse me, Professor. I don't see the activity on the platform.
No, I haven't been given access to the platform. So,
So where can we see this?
yes, I will send the link to the WhatsApp group. The moment I finish with this session, I will send the link to the WhatsApp group. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
The link
Perfect.
with the captures I mentioned from the evaluation plan.
But where
the
we're gonna
activities you need to
upload the
do.
activity?
You send it to, once you do it, you send it to my WhatsApp on a private conversation with the PDF file. You send it. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Any other question or doubt you guys have or not? I think our next, let me check, because I'm sorry, I don't like the separation with the way we're gonna work. Let me quickly check schedule here, because it says that our next session is gonna be February the 20th. So wait there. I'll make sure to send you guys more links, like these things, these important things that I mentioned, like the measure they took in Sweden to go back to textbooks, the article I mentioned of the AI bots creating a social network and talking about humans, which is really scary. The Terminator world is coming. Skynet is real. Yeah. So I'll send you that. Tell me, Vincent.
I do have an idea. I don't know if you can please create Google Classroom class so we can upload it there. That's what I use with my
It's
students.
easier.
So
It's
we can
easier.
have the chat and we can do that. You can post videos and it's free. That's free.
Yeah. I'll do it. Thanks for the suggestion. Well, guys, enjoy the rest of the Sunday. I'm sorry we had to meet today, but it's like a time where we were all most available, and I'm recording the session. Well, have a nice start of your week. See you, everyone. Bye-bye.